you know that there are some YouTubers with less than 1,000 subscribers that make more than some subscribers with 100,000 followers? Yes. And the difference is that they know how to turn random viewers into actual paying customers. This is about product sales if you have a product-based businesses. And I emphasize that is because it's a learned skill. It's not luck. It's not having a huge following. And guess what? No, you don't need to be pushy and weird about it. I think that's one of the drawbacks, not drawbacks, but that's one of the things that keeps a lot of us from going on YouTube and trying to sell. Remember, this whole series is about if you're a product-based business, does it make sense to do YouTube? So in this video 5, I want to talk about how to sell without making it feel too salesy and address the fear of selling. It doesn't mean salesy. So I'm going to try to break it down how to make money while you're sleeping. And we're going to recap what we've covered. Are we? No, we're not. The first thing you need to know is that it takes about 7 to 12 times of somebody seeing you or your product before they trust you and make a move. And this isn't just about being annoying and constantly bombarding in somebody's face, but it's about building a genuine trust over time. So your job or our job, it isn't to sell in every single video. One video might be to build trust. Another one might be about common mistakes that a person may make when they're using a product. I'll use wigs, for example. Wigs, I'm not into wigs. I think maybe I wear a wig maybe once a year for work related reasons. But let's say you have wigs and you have, I don't know, 20 different wigs. Well, maybe if you start out just showing your process and you're not necessarily saying, oh, buy this wig, it's on sale, it is 30% off for my first 20. I mean, yeah, that's an incentive. Think of it like dating, right? You don't propose on the first date. So use this analogy to make the concept relatable and more memorable. And you can break down the customer journey in some stages. I'll call it part 1. You want to get on their radar. Video types that work for that are signs that you're dealing with things like a struggle or a problem or something keeps happening over and over that's relevant to your audience or your niche. And an example of that might be, I'll just use wigs. I had an issue with finding the right wig cap. I did not know how to measure my skull. I didn't know how to properly ensure and guarantee that once I ordered the wig, it was going to fit on my head. So if somebody that sells wigs on YouTube had a video that was dedicated to how to measure your scalp, your head circumference, whatever the term is, perfectly so that you're guaranteed to always get the right size wig, that is a video that I would watch. And if they happen to sell wigs, maybe I might buy her wig or his wig, right? Another strategy is to jump on trends that are related to your product. You can find trending topics. Again, I'll just use the wig example, or even jewelry. If it's wigs, maybe red wigs are in or bob cuts are in. If you see in jewelry that a mixture of gold and silver is trending. And if you have those things, then jump on that, and that'll help your audience also connect with you, build trust, and you have something that they want. Another thing is giving away something for free. I know it depends on the product. Obviously, if you have a digital product, it's a lot easier to give away something for free. You're not spending money on postage and mailing and supplies, all those things. However, if you're sharing things behind the scene, I know it can be a bit difficult to share because there's a trust element, right? If you make the latest and greatest wigs, you might not want to show everybody how you do it because there might be somebody that's trying to steal your method. I get it. But find a sweet spot where you can share or find something to give away. Even if it's tips, maybe you have a downloadable ebook on how to care for your wig, how to wash a wig, how to measure your scalp for the right wig cap, and give it as a free download. If you make jewelry, maybe you have a video about how to keep your jewelry from tarnishing or how to correctly clean silver. Those are little things that you can quickly give away for free that also builds trust and keeps them coming back to your videos. You know, Costco, they're always giving out free samples, right? Every time you go around one of those aisles and you're like, oh, that was really good. Actually, you know what? Where is it? And you end up buying something. It happens to me all the time. You end up buying something that you had no intention of buying, but the free samples worked. Next, you gotta hook them using phrases like, are you tired of? Me too. Are you tired of getting the wrong wig and it being too big or too small? Me too. Are you tired of getting jewelry and it's not sized right? Are you tired of getting jewelry that is cheap and it doesn't seem to measure up to the photo that they sold you on? Whatever it is, use specific language that hooks them to what you think their pain point is. Now it's time to keep them interested. They found your product, they know who you are, and you got to prove that you know your stuff now. So show them real results of either people or testimonials about your product of real people that have used it. Emphasize that these are real stories, real people, and you want to take them behind the scenes, show them your process. Remember, people are buying from people. It's so easy for us to see these big conglomerates, like big major brands or stores, and we think, oh, if I'm not in Macy's or if I'm not in Nordstrom's, people aren't going to buy from me. That's not true. People buy from people. So show your personality, show how you work, and maybe compare your product up against some other products so that they know, number one, you're aware of your competitors, and be honest. Maybe there is a product that competes with yours and maybe it's better for certain things, but you're like, well, if you have this problem with wigs, then mine would be best. Or, you know, this one is great, but my hair is sourced from this type of supplier. I think people also like to see vulnerability. Vulnerability and consistency, that is how the relationship is built between, I think, a person and a customer when you're a small business like what we're doing. Another thing you may want to implement is a playlist. That's great because you can divide them into sections where you have a series of videos about the same topics. A good one would be if you did wigs. We'll just stay on the theme of wigs and jewelry. You might have an entire playlist on short bobs, the different ways you can style them. You might have an entire playlist on lace front or curly wigs. If you have jewelry, maybe you have an entire playlist that's just about silver jewelry or gold. The playlist is meant to keep them engaged and keep them searching and on your content. That way they're getting more impressions, because remember, we're talking about somebody has to see your videos or your product at least 7 to 12 times before they are likely to engage. And that's not even, when I say engage, I'm not even talking about an actual sale. Maybe they'll actually click through to your website. Maybe they'll sign up for your newsletter if you have them. Maybe you might get a sale, but you want to give them as many chances as possible to get those impressions in, to get the 7 to 12 and beyond. The next thing you want to do is start small. This may not apply to those of you who have 1 or 2 products, but keeping with the theme of wigs or selling jewelry, oftentimes you're going to have multiple products. You might have 20 to 30, even 50 if you sell jewelry. If you have your own line of wigs, you might have 10 to 20 different wigs. You want to start with the smallest price point first. And the reason why I say that, make multiple videos showcasing that one, is because if you don't know somebody and they're new and you're on the fence, it's easier for me to trust and get in at a smaller price point than going for the $1,000 wig, right? So if you have wigs that range from $200 to $1,000, maybe you want to start off showing your lower end wigs in terms of price, not quality, of course. Same with jewelry, because the beauty in wigs and jewelry is that you get repeat business. It is not a one-off. It's not like you're selling a piece of equipment that's, you know, $2,000, $3,000. So if somebody likes one of your $200 wigs, they'll probably be more likely to buy your wig that costs $400 and $500 and so on. Same with jewelry. If you offer something smaller on a first purchase and they like it, you give them reason to come back and try your other products that may cost more. And if it's priced lower, you give them a reason to have a bit more urgency. You can give them a reason to act now like it's a limited time or this is a bonus. You want to create some urgency without being manipulative. And it's easier to do that if you start off with one of your items that has a lower price point. So to wrap it all up, remember, we're trying to sell without it being too salesy. And the ways to do that is to get on their radar, identify something that sets you apart, maybe have some compare and contrast of your product to someone else's. You want to build that relationship. Start off with maybe some of your lower price point items to get them in and build trust. Create some urgency and make everything relatable. And remember, people buy from people. That's all I have for you for today. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.